The member for Barton has the call.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise today in support of the legislation that goes right to the centre of communities, jobs, small businesses and Australian social life. This bill reinforces the Albanese Labor government's decision to pause indexation on draft beer excise and excise equivalent customs duties for two years, beginning from 1 August 2025. It is a policy underpinned by fairness, community values and economic responsibility. It is a policy that recognises and supports Australian pubs, clubs, brewers, hospitality workers and the millions of Australians who rely on these venues for work, connection and community life. And it is a policy that speaks directly to the people and businesses in my electorate of Barton, from Hurstville to Walleye Creek, Beverly Hills to Clempton Park, Rockdale to Earlwood. Now, this measure does one simple, clear thing. It pauses automatic inflation-linked increases to draft beer excise for 2 years. It applies specifically to containers of 8 to 48 litres designed for gas or pump systems, our standard kegs in pubs and clubs, and containers over 48 litres used by larger hospitality venues. This pause does not apply to bottled beer, canned beer, spirits or retail alcohol. This is targeted, disciplined policy designed to support hospitality venues and the sector, not supermarkets, not bottling multinationals, not liquor companies, but the pubs, clubs and taverns and small brewers who serve our communities directly from a tap.
The member for Forrest.
Deputy Speaker, I draw your attention to the state of the chamber.
Quorum required. Quorum required. Ring the bells.
There's almost 31. Almost. Can we count?
Extra couple of fingers required, maybe.
Can we count everyone? Can't. This is a good speech, mate. What are you doing?
I know. No one loves draft beer more than me, by the way.
Spoke a lot about pies today. Hungry?
Yeah, I'm here for it. Well, Ash, I look forward to hearing the next one. Well done, mate. Sensational.
Big record.
I was wondering what you were going to do up there.
Oh, really?
I think she said too much that's provocative. Do we have a switch?
He said, oh, you know, Bunbury Hospital's going great.
Oh,
You just had a new record with the ambulance round. Excellent.
It's a system, mate. They ration. Soviets worked that out.
Can I just remind the member that once you're in and a quorum is being counted, you can't leave the chamber. Quorum being present, I call the member for Barton and ask other remaining members to leave in an orderly fashion from the chamber.
This policy supports 10,000 hospitality venues across Australia, and of the 10,000 venues, about 75% of them small family-run businesses. This policy will be supporting approximately 160,000 workers in hospitality and brewing. Further, this will support thousands of more in supply chains like farmers, logistics, tradies, cleaners, entertainers and local suppliers. These are the venues that sponsor the local footy club, host family dinners, employ young people, train chefs, host charity events and offer a safe and social space for neighbours to connect. For 2 years, this means the tax on a pint stays steady. Family-run pubs get certainty, small brewers will have breathing room, young workers keep their shifts, and venues avoid passing cost increases onto locals. This pause means that when a family in Barton heads out for a Friday night meal, or when a group of mates meets after work in Banksia or Beverly Hills to watch the UFC, or when seniors meet for raffles in Hurstville or Earlwood, the cost of connection doesn't climb. This is a cost of living measure that also strengthens small business resilience, regional tourism, jobs and apprenticeships, local manufacturing and community connection. It is a cost of living relief, economic support and community support rolled into one smart, responsible policy. Deputy Speaker, in Australia, pubs and licensed venues are not just businesses, they are a community institution. In many places, they are the heart of the suburb or the heart of the town. They are where we gather to watch the footy, celebrate a birthday, share a meal, attend a fundraiser, or simply sit among neighbours and feel part of something bigger than ourselves. In Barton, we see this every day. We see this at Beverly Hills Hotel, where local families gather after weekend sport. We see it at the Roxia and Earlwood Beverly Park RSL, where locals build friendships over generations. We see this at the Ritz in Hurstville, buzzing with life, especially on trivia nights. The Forest Inn in Bexley, with its proud community ties and killer pizzas. Clubs like St George Leagues, Arncliffe Scots Club and Club Central in Hurstville, which supports sport and charity. And just outside the border, but beloved by Barton locals, is the local brewery, the Social Brewer, a great brewery tucked in the Member for Banks electorate. Thousands of Barton residents work in hospitality as bar staff, cooks, cleaners, security officers, musicians, wait staff, bottle shop attendants, managers and apprentices. When we keep these venues strong, we keep the communities strong. We keep young people employed, we keep families connected, and we keep traditions alive. I want to share why this is important to me. Before entering Parliament, I worked supporting the hospitality sector, including with the Australian Hotels Association. I stood shoulder to shoulder with venue operators from suburban pubs to regional institutions and saw their strong commitment to creating safe and welcoming spaces. I saw the pressure they felt balancing rising costs with fair pricing for their customers. I saw their pride in employing and training local workers and the generosity supporting teams, charities and community groups. I've supported these business owners who stayed awake nights worrying whether they could afford to keep staff on. I've seen young people transform their lives through their first hospitality jobs, and I want to acknowledge the great work of the mighty United Workers Union in the sector supporting workers and in collaboration with these employers. Hospitality isn't just an industry, it's absolutely a pathway, a community hub and a cultural institution. And so when I say this policy matters, it's not flippant, but this is from lived experience supporting the sector. We've listened, we've consulted, we've acted. This is responsible government. That is an Albanese Labor government. Rather than responding with mantras, we've responded with solutions. We target support where it delivers the most benefit. This industry endured months of pandemic shutdowns, supply chain disruptions, staffing challenges and years of inflation pressures under the opposition. And yet these Australians kept going. They adapted, they innovated, they did takeaway, they did home delivery, they kept food in fridges, beers in kegs, and where they could, kept staff on the books. They held communities together in some of the hardest times we've known, and they deserve support, and we are giving it. And I must also add that this great policy works hand in hand with the New South Wales Men's Labor government, with Minister John Graham, who's working hard to boost the New South Wales economy and revive our nighttime economy after a decade of lockouts and then lockdowns by the former Liberal state government. This is what a Labor government does. It supports the economy and it supports small businesses. This measure also supports independent brewers who rely heavily on draft sales. It helps them manage production, maintain cash flow, retain staff, invest in quality and keep supplying local venues. Local taps in Barton serve beer from passionate independent producers, Sydney brewers who stand for the craft. We are making sure they can keep doing that. By supporting draft production, we protect diversity and fairness in our beer and hospitality markets, not just for the biggest players. Deputy Speaker, I want to be very clear that this policy is temporary. It is fiscally responsible and it does not change Australia's alcohol taxation system. It does not undermine public health objectives and it ensures excise returns to normal after 2 years. Now, the opposition, I had an opportunity to listen to some of the speeches, and they sound like they are distorting this, because I recall this also being an election commitment from those across the chamber, and it's still on the Liberal Party's website to this day, 6 months after the election. But the fact remains, this is a targeted relief. It does not fuel inflation. It protects jobs and communities, and it maintains our public health settings. This is steady. This is disciplined economic management, low risk, high benefit, and temporary. Deputy Speaker, this is part of a very comprehensive cost of living agenda. And having listened to some of those across the chamber and observed their line of questioning at question time, no rhyme, no thought, they say the government's spending too much, and then they have the hide to say we're not doing enough for cost of living. And then we hear today, oh, it's not enough, but it does a little bit for small businesses. Choose your side. Let me remind the opposition what this Albanese Labor government has already delivered. Wages rises, 3.5% minimum and award increase, super at 12%, paid parental leave increased to 24 weeks with super, $150 more energy relief this year, apprentice payments of $10,000, cheaper home batteries, 20% cut in student HECS help debt for 3 million Aussies, Commonwealth prac payments for nursing, teaching, midwifery, social work students, pay rises for aged care workers, cheaper medicines, expanded bulk billing. This is real relief, delivered responsibly. And while many major economies are facing recessions and job losses, Australia has a strong employment and stable growth, and we are navigating global challenges with competence, steadiness and fairness. Deputy Speaker, this 2-year excise pause is fair, it's targeted, it's responsible and deeply needed. It recognises the role hospitality plays in the lives of Australians, in our suburbs, in our cities, in our regions and in electorates like mine, the seat of Barton. It supports the places where we gather, celebrate, mourn, reconnect, unwind and belong. It backs the workers pulling pints, washing glasses, scrubbing kitchens, running events, serving meals and keeping our venues safe and welcoming. It helps small businesses breathe, plan, invest and continue supporting our community. It protects local jobs. It lowers cost of living pressures. It strengthens local economies. It reflects both economic discipline and social understanding. And most importantly, it reflects the core promise of this Albanese Labor government to look after working Australians, to support small business and to govern responsibly and fairly for every community.